Alabama's going to be just fine at quarterback with Bryce Young. I don't know if it'll be as dynamic at the quarterback position as we've come accustomed to seeing at Alabama the last few years.
You know, it's the same old story, mass exodus with players, first-round draft picks everywhere, Heisman Trophy winners, coaches mass exiting. We've seen this from Alabama year in and year out. But as long as a guy named Nick Saban's there, the expectations don't change. It's national championship or bust. But make no mistake about it, they've got great talent at every position. Bryce Young is a phenomenal, talented quarterback. The only thing we don't know is his decision making, because we don't have a sample size right now to know. And we don't know how he'll respond to adversity, when he takes big hits, when he throws a pick six. We don't know those things. But what we do know is he's got great talent. His high school career was nothing short of phenomenal. And high school film-wise, he's one of the best I've seen. So they have the pieces in place. It's just a matter of how long it takes to get him going.
At receiver, that's a group that's going to grow throughout the season, and by the end of the year, we're going to say maybe that's the top receiving group in the country, which is saying something. I mean, Alabama expects to have the best of everything, but Ohio State is absolutely loaded at receiver this year. On paper, they're the best room. Maybe Clemson's second behind that, and Alabama's kind of sneaking around. Everybody's going, we don't know what to expect there. But the talent they have and the coaching that they have there and the offense that they're implementing there and continue to implement, that's a receiver group that could very well be number one by the end of the season, and they're going to get better game to game. This might be an Alabama offense that doesn't look like the one that set records last season in the first half of the schedule, but by the second half of the schedule, they'll start scoring 50-plus points. It's because of that receiver room.
I think it will probably be more run-based early. The difficulty with that will be the offensive line is just not going to be as good, especially early on. You're taking your right tackle, moved him to left tackle. You have a guard that was drafted. You have one of the better centers in school history that's going to be gone. You have a first-round tackle that's gone. And I understand the whole plug-and-play mantra, but those guys had played a lot of football together. And for me, I take advantage of quarterback mobility and RPOs to keep the second level of the defense back to where teams can't stack the line of scrimmage, to sort of toy with a new offensive line and a newer quarterback to cause confusion, commotion, and then force mistakes. So when you can put that in instead of being a motion-based offense like Sark had last year, I think you at least handle and manage what teams can do at the second level. I still think Manny game one is going to come after him. And he'll just say, you know what, hell with it. We might get beat, but we're at least going to get beat going down in attack mode. And then you'll probably see Grantham do that week 3 too, and just say we're going to roll the dice, see what happens. That's what I would do. But I do think it'll lean a little bit more on the run. You'll see more quarterback run implemented. He's not going to get – Bryce won't get 25, 30 carries a game like Cam or Dak. He's not built for that. But I think they're going to have to add it to force defenses to play him a certain way.
They have a tremendous defense right now that's very talented at every level of the defense. They will have to hold it down until the offense, Bryce Young, Bill O'Brien, they get their connection going and they get that rhythm of the offense going.
In my eyes, that Alabama defense finally got like back on track in 2020, and this year is when we start going. That's not just a great defense, it's finally back to that elite status, which is going to be able to counterbalance any issues the offense might have in the first half of the schedule. And because of that, when those two things meet in the second half of the schedule, it's going to look like an absolute locomotive that's going to just be drilling opponents in the SEC in the second half of the schedule. So if you're an Alabama fan, I would say this, like if things don't look right offensively in the first half of the schedule, it'll come around. And the reason why is, one, the coaches are great, the talent's great on offense, but that defense is going to give them so much confidence to bail out the offense at times that the offense is going to have time to figure things out. And by the second half of the schedule, I would not want to be an opposing team.
It really comes down to the health of that defensive line, because we've seen them be really good in recent memory, but that's when DJ Dale was healthy, when LeBron Ray was healthy. I think Fedarian Mathis is going to come on and be pretty good. We know Will Anderson can be pretty good, but if they start losing guys in the middle of that defense, that's where that and linebacker we've seen them sort of falter off a little bit, not be as good. But they've got superstars at every level. I think that Josh Jobe is going to have a monster year. Will Anderson's going to have a big year. You've added Henry To'oTo'o, who I don't think is by far the fastest or most athletic linebacker they have, but I think he could be sort of the quarterback of the defense. And even if he doesn't play all the time, I think his awareness is going to be valuable. But they got other guys that have played pretty good at linebacker last year. I mean, they had an inside linebacker I thought was playing as good as anybody in the nation towards the end of last season who's going to be back. So I don't think you have to bring him in and just say plug and go. He has to be our guy. I think they have options at that position now, and they hadn't had that for a while. So defense, here's the thing, in my opinion, the defense wasn't terrible last year. And everybody says, oh, the defense was the worst ever. Notre Dame didn't have 400 total yards. Ohio State had their least total yardage of the entire season. So the defense wasn't terrible. So take one that was actually pretty good and then bring most guys back and make it better. I think the defense has a chance. I'm not going to say special, because when I say special Bama defense, we think like 2009, 1992. You're not getting those numbers again. So if I tell people that I think it'll be a generational defense, all of a sudden they think, 7.9 points per game and 215 yards a game. We're not going to get that ever again. But I think they have a chance to be a lot better than they were last year, and I think they were pretty good last year.
Talking a little trash on the field? Yeah, we get it. Trashing the state with litter? That's terrible. Keep it clean. Keep Alabama beautiful.